One month feels like the equivalent of a year when it comes to Pokemon news, so this isn't breaking news or anything like that anymore. But just a few weeks ago, Pokemon TCG Classic was announced, and my initial reaction to it is eh. Well, I do find the design of the game board and all the goodies that are included in here to be pretty nice, actually. I'm looking at this product, and I'm looking at the price tag, and I guess I'm just left wondering, who exactly is this for? I'm not really sure, but we'll get into that in just a bit. While no pricing for the English version has been announced just yet, the Japanese version will be launching at 35,000 yen, or roughly 260 USD, with the English release aiming for late 2023. So, what exactly is this? Well, let's hear it straight from Pokemon.com, which reads, "Experience the timeless joy of Pokemon TCG with Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic, a product designed for fans to enjoy friendly battles anytime and anywhere. Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic features a foldable, portable, two-player game board, complete with card placement zones for your active Pokemon, benched Pokemon, blah blah blah. Recount the days of Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise from base set, running wild with 3 specially constructed decks featuring these fully evolved Kanto First partner Pokemon. These decks also feature newly printed cards to go alongside the classics, letting you form new strategies with never-before-seen cards like Ho-Oh EX and Lugia EX. Inside the toolbox, you'll find stackable damage counters that clearly indicate how much damage a Pokemon has taken, 3-dimensional poison and burn markers, and metal orbs that take the place of Pokemon coins. At the center of the toolbox, you'll be able to roll these metal orbs down a chute, and if it lands on the white hole, it'll be treated as heads, and if it lands on the black hole, it's treated as tails. Well, anyway, that's about the gist of it, so let's just take a quick look at everything it says that we've got included in here. Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic includes a game board that folds up to store all the items, including Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic, a toolbox for storing stackable damage counters, poison and burn markers, and metal orbs. Okay, so these do look pretty nice to me. You can see this product is going for a more mature look, and I actually really dig that. I think this stuff actually looks pretty cool, and it looks pretty slick, but the whole trailer is kind of funny to me. It looks like Hulu's attempt at ripping off Queen's Gambit. I don't know what's going on here. These players are taking their Pokemon very seriously. But anyway, let's move on and see what else is included in here. So we get 3 Pokemon TCG decks featuring Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, as well as newly printed cards to go along with the classics, and then 3 deck boxes. So this is where things get kind of interesting, these 3 pre-made decks. At first glance, I was kind of excited by these. I mean, they're clearly aimed for fans of the old Wizards of the Coast game, and by including and building decks around Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that these are the 3 starters from Gen 1, and they were actually pretty fun cards to play back in the day, so that's pretty cool. The decks actually look really neat, and there's not really anything outwardly bad to say about the decks themselves. And I do think that including new EX cards is a pretty fun idea as well. I mean, they haven't released the whole deck, so I'm not really sure about everything that's included in here, but I do think it's interesting. So, if you're wondering what exactly is my issue here, let's go back to my initial question. Who is this for? Well, I think I'd have to say it's aimed at players, but that raises up a few concerns I have. First, if this thing is geared for new players of the game, well, the entry fee is rather steep, but more importantly, these decks really have nothing to do with the current meta. And since they are including X cards and other more recent Pokemon, it isn't even comparable to any old meta either. It's really just its own thing with these 3 decks. And as interesting as they might be, I can't imagine many people are going to be playing these same 3 decks over and over. Part of the fun of the game is customizing your decks and finding new strategies to outmaneuver your opponent, and this doesn't really seem like something that's designed for that. So my thoughts are, what about returning players? I do think that's a big piece of the intended audience for this product. I mean, nostalgia is incredibly powerful, and used as a sales tool, no one knows how to do that better than Pokemon. But if you were someone who used to play this as a kid, like you used to play the card game as a kid and you've grown away from the franchise for whatever reason, is this going to be the thing that'll pull you back in? you're only getting these 3 decks, and again, don't get me wrong, guys. I love the decks. I love Charizard. Who doesn't? But if you played the game and you want a quick trip down memory lane, then there are probably cheaper ways to go about that. And heck, Nintendo just added Pokemon Trading Card Game for the Game Boy Color onto the Nintendo Switch Online library. And that game has all of the great cards from Base, Jungle, and Fossil, and you can play it for practically free. So there's a much cheaper way to get your fix of nostalgia if that's all you're looking for. And despite being a clunky old Game Boy game, it's actually pretty fun. So if this thing isn't aimed for players, then what about collectors? Well, I do think that newer collectors might have something to be excited about in this. I mean, Celebrations released pretty damn recently, and had quite a lot of these same iconic cards in it. And if we want to go back a little further, there was XY Evolutions, and I'm sure given enough time, we'll be seeing reprints of these iconic old cards, and they'll find some way into future sets again. On a quick side note, I do want to point out that I think it's kind of lame that Pokemon never reprints anything from any of their other cool old sets like Neo, and they mostly just focus on base, but that's not for this video. But yeah, collectors. I don't know. I'm not really seeing a lot of excitement from the side of collectors on this one anyway. At least a lot of the people that I know aren't really talking about it, and if we're talking about people that like to collect boxes of cards and not the cards inside, well, I kind of wonder about that too. If you're someone who likes to collect sealed Pokemon, and you're someone who likes to treat Pokemon like it's the New York Stock Exchange, there's nothing wrong with that. Is this for you? I don't know about that, because, yeah, it's going to be rare, and I'm sure like anything in Pokemon, if you keep it sealed, it will go up over time. But why would you be putting your money in something like this over just like something simple, like a case of booster boxes that we've already seen time and time again can just go up in money? Maybe I don't see it, but I'm also not a Poke Investor Bro kind of guy, so maybe I'm completely off base on that one. Anyway, I guess that's about it for this one. I guess I'm just trying to say, this looks kinda cool, but the price is kinda high, and while I think it's a little neat, I also don't think it really functions as a game that you're going to be getting endless hours of entertainment out of. And from a collection standpoint, there's not really anything that new to show off in here. At least not enough to justify such a hefty price tag. But with the late 2023 release date, I'm sure this one will be available by the holiday shopping season. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you guys like this one, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and maybe we'll be talking about something else in Pokemon sometime soon. See ya! Real quick, I do want to add that I do think this thing's probably going to sell pretty decently. I mean, it'll probably get scalped to hell, and, you know, the cards in here will probably get sent to PSA to get graded, and who knows, but I don't know. Is this something that you guys are going to be picking up? For me, I'm not feeling this one. But let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks.